your start in teaching, you taught earth science, right? Health.
My first start in teaching was at Streamwood High School, and I taught machine shop and auto mechanics. And so I was there for a year. They had some staff reductions, and they moved me over to Canton Middle School, where then I taught just 7th and 8th grade tech ed. So I was there for a year. The district was having money constraints, so they reduced staffing more. And so then I was going to be out of a job. I was going to be looking somewhere else. But they had said, well, you were teaching some math, but you really can't get a minor. You need a minor in Illinois. So I said, actually, I have more science credits than that. And they looked it up, and it's like, well, if you can get 5 more science credits, we'll give you a science job over at Taft Middle School. So I picked up 6 more credits that summer and qualified for a minor in science, and I started teaching earth science at the 8th grade level.
Okay.
For a few years I was teaching tech ed at Taft Middle School and 8th grade earth science, and eventually it evolved to all earth science, 5 classes a day of earth science. So.
And you enjoyed that, or?
I enjoyed it, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I liked it better when it wasn't 5 classes of the same thing, when it was 2 tech ed and 3. When you were teaching 5 of the same thing, by the time you get to the 4th and 5th one, you're not sure, now did I just cover that or didn't I? I remember covering it, but was that this morning or last hour? Those types of things got interesting.
So you were down in Illinois for roughly 10 years?
10 years, yes.
And then you moved up to Amherst for 3?
Amherst for 3. Taught tech ed and 8th grade earth science at Amherst for 3 years.
And then you popped over here after those 3?
Yes.
So how many years has it been since you've been in the district?
23 years.
23, wow.
23.
And
yep.
you were between the middle school and the high school for a portion of that,
For
right?
a portion. I started out at the high school here for the first probably 8 years or so. And then we, once our tech ed guy over there retired, they didn't want to replace him, but they didn't want to give up tech ed over there. So then one of us was traveling. I volunteered to travel because I had a number of years teaching middle school, and I liked it. So I said, well, I'll travel between the two, even though I had seniority over our other tech ed teachers. But so I got some good years in over at AMS, and so. However, this year's freshman class is the first class that I hadn't taught at the middle school. Otherwise, the sophomores on through I had when they were 6th graders over at the middle school.
So fresh faces.
Yes, in the freshmen, yeah.
And how'd it go this year with them since you didn't have a
Good.
report?
It went good. Good kids. Yep.
Can you talk about how tech ed has changed since you've gotten in the field to where we find ourselves now?
It's changed quite a bit. When I first started, I was teaching a couple of classes where it was really one area, a specific area where I was doing like the auto mechanics or the machine shop, and then even after that, it was within traditional type of manufacturing settings that it was covering. And as we went along, as technology has blossomed, for example, machining, numerical control machining. So we have CNC machines, which now you program them to do the things for you. It kicks up the precision on stuff and the reliability as well, rather than just someone standing and turning the crank by hand. It's like, oops, I went too far. Whereas with this numerical control, the computer, it's exact every time. So
did you bring that into Nakusa here, or did we already have?
We did not have it before that.
You brought it in.
So as we evolved, it was recommendations that were put out that you really need to be doing these kind of things.
Okay.
So all kinds of technology was brought on as it blossomed. It's like, okay, we need to do other things, and now we're doing 3D printing with different things, and you might even be able to hear a couple of the 3D printers running right now. So we had that type of evolving towards that.
Sure.
Different courses, engineering, teaching straight engineering rather than just metals and woods and things like that. To now we're using a lot of that equipment that you would in those different courses, but now we're using it to come up with an idea, come up with a process that allows you to design that, and then come up and build prototypes and bring your designs to fruition and come up with things. So it's getting into a whole design process, not just learning a technique, how to do certain things. So that's how it's really evolved, is doing those. And then with modern technology, some things are just done a little different, or made easier.
Sure. Can you talk about some of the projects that people may have seen in the community that you've been a part of while at Nakusa?
We've done a lot of different things. We've made a number of different sheds. For example, over at Alexander Middle School, we made the shed that's out by their garden and a couple of the raised garden beds. Those are one example. We've made different signs around the community. The John Thompson Park down past the mill, we made the sign for that. We were part of the mural project that went up, the first one down there. We helped lay out, keep the art people constrained.
By Swiftwater you're talking?
The Swiftwater one, yes. Because artists, it's like, well, if you run over the edge, you just paint it a little thicker, and it's like, no, you have defined edges you can't run over. So we helped out in those manners. We made all the letters that went up for Swiftwater. We cut them out on our CNC machine out of the durable sign plastic. So that was part of it. Down by the new boat landing that we have up the river a little bit, or I should say down the river a little bit, we took one of the old sections, actually a couple of the old sections of the previous boat landing, bolt them together and put a new decking on there and rails are on there, and we have a cantilevered fishing and viewing platform that goes out over the river that's just a little ways from the boat landing. So there's nice.
It's not at the boat landing, because I went down there and I saw.
No, it's not right at the boat landing. It's a little further south. A little walk, maybe 50 yards, 60 yards further south down the river.
Closer to the paper plants. You're talking the Freeman boat landing.
Yes.
You got the two ones that go out in the water.
Yep. And then if you continue, if you're looking at the boat landing, you continue to your right, walk up.
And there's like a little dirt path that goes that way?
There probably is.
Okay.
And it's down there a little ways.
Okay.
So, and there's holes in the rails for poles and an angled thing. So if you're sitting there fishing, you can angle your arms on there and lean on there easily, and some benches. And so we've done that. There's been a number of, like I said before, sheds that we've made.
The new community garden sign too, right?
Yes.
You helped with Tempest.
We did the framework and the post for that. Over at the community center, we made their storage shed a couple of years ago. We're in the process right now of making a sign for Pumpkin Fest, permanent sign that's going to go up and indicating when it is, and has some nice graphics on it and that.
Is that going on by Riverside Park?
Yep.
And you did the gazebo down there too, then?
Yes, we did the gazebo, and so there's all kinds of things I can't remember. One of the ones we see along here, that sign out for the Chester outdoor one at the school forest.
Okay.
We did that a few years ago, and so a lot of different things have been done.
Yeah, it seems like everywhere you look, there's Steve Osterbrink in some way, shape, or form.
It seems that way at times, I guess.
What's the other one? Oh, memorable moments while you've been here. I know that you helped coach football and wrestling.
Yes.
And one student, what was it, Travis?
Travis Jensen was a state champion in wrestling. So.
What year was that?
That would have been 97. So I coached wrestling from the 95-96 school year to the 90, I believe the 99-2000, or the one before that. So yeah, that year we put 2 guys in the state finals, and John Miltimore was second that year, and Travis was a state champ. So it's a heck of a moment to be able to get 2 guys in the finals, and then to get them into the state finals. Get them on that podium as a state champion was pretty special. We had a number of students in those years place down in state and do well. So,
Interesting.
yep, it was fun.
When did you stop coaching football?
I stopped varsity the same year I stopped wrestling. I just said, I've been doing this 20 years back to back, football and wrestling, from one school to the next, and it's like, let some younger guys do that. And then they convinced me to help out with freshmen. So then I did the freshman football for another 3-4 years, and then I went over to the middle school and was doing 7th and 8th grade there for a year.
Okay.
Until I finally hung it up.
20 years of football and wrestling.
Yeah, back to back. And so football total is probably 25 years of coaching that. So,
Wow. That's crazy.
So
Any other memorable moments that come to mind in the classroom?
there's a lot of different things there. Let's see. So many kids. Most of the memories are just all the different kids you get, those aha moments when they get it, the smiles on their faces, what are we doing next? Let's get going type things. When you get that enthusiasm, those are the special things, things like that. I know my advisory kids gotten to know really well the last few years. I'm gonna miss them.
You had them for 4 years, right? All through the.
Just the last 2,
Okay.
because the year before we were doing something different, so it got readjusted. But
Okay.
it's been 2 good years with them.
That's where it's at now, right? Where they have
Yeah.
you're supposed to follow them throughout the whole.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I'm mixed up.
Yeah.
Any words of wisdom for graduating seniors and underclassmen?
The more you know, the better off you are. Never miss an opportunity to learn something. Even if you think, well, I'll never do that, because every time you say no to learning something, your options that you have go from here to here to here to here. Pretty soon you just have a small number of options, things you can do. And the way we've seen the job market, different jobs come and go over the last few decades, and they're changing more and more as we go. If they're not ready for that change, they're going to get left behind. And if they don't hit the math, they don't hit the nowadays coding, being able to program, they're going to get shut out of a lot of high-paying jobs that are out there in careers. So it's those types of things. Is take advantage of those opportunities. All right.
Last question. Where might students find you in the years to come? What are your plans for retirement?
Well, golf course, if the weather's good. I still get out snowmobiling with my dad, and we're looking forward to next season where I won't be constrained by having to be at school. We can take off up north anytime we want. My wife and I are looking at buying a place up north somewhere, a cabin in that we can spend a bunch of time at. So hopefully sitting on a dock alongside the lake, fishing pole in the water, or out on the lake doing whatever, sitting on a deck and enjoying the view. So those are some of the things we're looking forward to.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Osterbrink.
You're welcome. And, thank you.
Hi, Dave. This is Peanut. You know me, and I am going to miss you dearly. Who's going to do all my shirts? Who's going to fix all the stuff I need? It's going to be tough to replace you. I will see you sometime in the future.
Dave Osterbrink was very helpful in all of his classes. We had a lot of fun times. Me and him getting lots of fights because we both are really stubborn and, clash. And we have a lot of inside jokes, though, and I was lucky to have him for my final year in high school, and we'll miss him.
I've known Mr. Osterbrink since I came to the Nakusa School District, and we coached freshman football together. He's been a great person to work with, both as a coach and then also as a teacher, and in my role now as principal here at the high school. And we are definitely going to miss Mr. Osterbrink, and I wish him the best in retirement.
So one of the things I took from Dave-O is that man knows a lot about like inventor or just publisher or just anything like that. But yeah, I just think he knows a lot. I mean, he puts a lot of stuff in the Dropbox, so I mean.
Mr. Osterbrink, wish you the best on your retirement. Just want to thank you for all of the help that you've given me, both you and your department, in the past whenever I needed help with musical or any other designs or needs with posters and whatnot. So I hope you have a great time in your retirement.
I have been able to work with Mr. Osterbrink for the last 5 years, and as being part of the CTE department with him, he has been a wonderful leader. He taught me what we were doing in CTE at this school, and I'm really sad to see him go. What he has done in the tech ed department makes it top notch. We were lucky enough to have Dr. Tony Evers here for us to showcase tech ed, business ed, and family consumer science a few years ago. That was an exciting experience with him, and I'm really sad to see one of my favorite coworkers leave. So thank you, Mr. Osterbrink, for a great 5 years, and enjoy your retirement.
I've looked forward to going to Mr. O's classes every day for the past 2 years. I'm going to miss him next year, and he's been a good teacher, taught me a lot of stuff, been a positive impact on my life.
All right, summon Dave Osterbrink up in 30 seconds or less. Oh, I'm going to miss you so much. Our discussions, our philosophical differences about construction techniques, and you know, you're one of a kind, irreplaceable, really, actually, like one hell of a guy, Dave.